test. Bum, 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 ba-da-da, ba-da-da, bum, bum, bum. I can't chew bubble gum and walk at the same time, man. I apologize. So yeah, check it out, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. It's the one and only Gemma Worthy, man. If it ain't messy, it ain't me. Today is hump day. It's Wednesday. And then hump day and Wednesday, we get messy. You know what I'm saying? As my mother would always say, I'm always gonna be late to my own funeral. And that's okay. I can deal with that. At least I know somebody be there waiting for me, right? So let's get to it, man. Today is a great day and a great occasion. I speak about mental health and different perspective. A lot of y'all know me from my dog talk and things like that. When I got into dogs, got Filthy Rich Boss Hog. It was for one thing only, therapy first. Then it grew into something else. Y'all got to meet me in some capacity, some more than others. And you begin to hear the slogan, the chant, the hashtag, it's messy. The slogan, if it ain't messy, it ain't me. Trademark. You know what I mean? It's a lifestyle, it's a brand, it's a way of life. It's not just a catchy phrase. If it ain't messy, it ain't me. Excuse me and my fumbling. So at any rate, first and foremost, I want to give us early on out. I want to give a shout out to Get More Graphics. You see the hat right here. Shout out to Get More Graphics. We're gonna give a quick full blown shout out to Get More. And 2 seconds.
Hey guys, this break is brought to you by Get More Graphics. They take care of all our vinyl banners, stickers, car magnets. They do our embroidery, special occasions, birthdays, you name it. They got what you need, man. Just click the link below. I said click the link. That's that Doja. Check out the link below and go holler at them, man. They'll take good care of you. Continue watching the show and just remember, if it ain't messy, it ain't me.
Yeah, so big shout out to Get More Graphics. See the embroidered hat, see the vinyl banner in the back. Some of y'all seen our stickers. Some of y'all seen our t-shirts. Some of y'all seen our car magnets. Some of y'all seen fat heads and metal signs and things with our pigsty logos on it. That's all courtesy of Get More Graphics. The banners that we had at the show, at the meet and greets, courtesy of Get More Graphics. Commercial grade work. I'm gonna get it right. Got good values, great prices. Get More Graphics, good values, great prices. Shout out to them. Check them out. Website coming up soon, but they have been in operation for over 5 years now. You name it, they've done it and still doing it. High school, middle schools, league teams, just a vast of things. Again, commercial grade work. Get More Graphics. All right. With that being said, again, today's topic was special because I've been talking a lot about on my rant, if you will, my messy rant about this masculinity and femininity thing. Sometimes I sound like a broken record. Sometimes what I've have said is received well. Sometimes it's not, and that's fine. That's what the First Amendment right is for: freedom of speech, freedom of free thought. And I put those thoughts, some of my thoughts out there, whether they pertain 100% to me or it's just something I was just thinking about the world. I'm a traveling man. If you know, you know. I'm a Gemini. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? I felt like I was born for a reason. I felt like I'll die for a reason. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, I see things differently than the average bear. I observe things differently. Sometimes the way I display those things are a little bit more raw than the civilized world can handle as a norm. But I feel I'm an empath. I've been called a narcissist, but what male hasn't at this point? You know what I'm saying? But I'm an empath. I feel the people. Sometimes I absorb that energy. We all absorb some kind of energy. That's why it's good to meditate and stay on our frequencies and all our proper frequencies and all that. But we've been talking about fathers and husbands and being a parent. You know what I mean? Trying to be an entrepreneur, just trying to live in life and breathe and find positive ways to breathe and focus. And again, that's through channeling great coping skills and different techniques. Via your mental health situation. So this particular, again, I don't want to prolong it too much, and I'll do my commentary, as it goes along. But at the end of the day, this is a very intimate, super intimate situation. A video I made for my son. We had an argument, at his graduation, a very unfortunate argument at his graduation party, high school graduation, which left a great stain on our relationship. Nonetheless, the situation transpired. I tried my best after realize, what fully happened. To apologize sincerely and fully sooner than later in so many ways. And to a point where I petitioned my son over and over again, hey, let's talk. He wasn't ready to talk at that point. So I decided to make a video. The video was taken on my birthday 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, May 28th, something like that. And my father had came down to visit me for my birthday party. He was going, to a little situation. But before we left, I asked him impromptu. I said, hey, you mind, if we go ahead and make this video so I can tell my son, and so I can show and tell him, what I mean and how I felt, how I feel, and how I feel like, he has a high potential to be feeling. Just as an everyday boy, male going through the situation, but cut from my own cloth, my DNA. So we're gonna get into it, man. The struggle is real. Shout out to the men, the fathers. Shout out to the women that support their men. Shout out to the women that endure the stresses and duresses of their spouses going through it, whatever the situation. I know it takes a lot, a toll on any partner where they're dealing with residuals from a past relationship with their partner. It could have it's rare to see positive dual family, blended families exist. But at the end of the day, for the majority of people, it becomes, a great stressor on a relationship. It becomes a weighted heavy boulder when you have discord with a past relationship and you have kids in the situation. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play the video, and I would definitely go ahead and in fashion, I'll go ahead and narrate and commentate. I can't pause it, so I'll talk limited through the situation and do the best I can. But again, I did this to share. I did this explicitly to share with you guys and the fathers out there, and definitely get feedback on some of the trials that we go through. A lot of men don't talk about certain things. A lot of men feel like they can't talk about certain things, and the ones that want to talk about it don't feel like they're in the environment to talk about it and really get some kind of resolve and some answers for the situation. So shout out to the people out there trying. Shout out to the fathers out there trying, the mothers out there trying, don't have their kids. Shout out to the kids who are trying to fight for their mental health space to stay positive and do productive things in life, man. So here it goes, man. If it ain't messy, that ain't me. And shout out to my pops too, man, for being a great sport about the situation. Again, we did this on my birthday 2 years ago, man.
First and foremost, this is for you, Tavon.
Hey, so
your grandfather came down for my birthday. I asked him, this is my birthday present. I asked him to have a conversation with me to hopefully open communication and shed some light on some things to you, and hopefully open the door so we can speak sooner than later, to resolve some issues I feel that can be resolved. Now I'm just gonna hop into where we were, and again, this is about, I did this because I know you're in pain. I feel you in pain. I dream about you. I think about you all the time. I love you dearly. And first and foremost, I'm gonna apologize again, because I said I didn't want to text you. I preferred to call you, but we're gonna talk face to face this way. I apologize.
Again, I'm trying to talk to my son.
Like less than a young man. I apologize.
Wasn't getting any real correspondence.
If you felt disrespected in front of your people and your family and your day. That was not my intention. But I do know that you communicate things to your mom, your sister, and your grandma, and probably your friends that are never communicated to me, which I call a tough conversation. So
and a lot of us go
in my
through
head
that.
and heart, I figure if we understand one another's perspective, that can help us come to a better conversation and come to a resolve. I understand your pain because I felt the same kind of pain towards my father, your grandfather.
A lot of us do.
And so
Passing
it's funny
it
you
down,
came in
passing
on
the pain down.
about the graduation. We were talking about it in a different light. So I'll share it for the first time.
And my father was a good sport.
At Sierra's graduation, in that space, I was furious.
That's my sister.
Okay.
Shout out to John. He definitely had pacified me in the situation. John is your aunt's stepdad. As far as in my mind and my heart at the period of time, I had every intention of fighting you when I seen you, because I felt broken and tired, and what I perceived as favoritisms.
Right.
Yeah, we're all down there and communicating to go down and support Sierra. But I'm like, damn, why ain't nobody come holler at me for my graduation?
Right. Right.
And I remember the context of how we left off, on our graduation. If you don't, again, for context, to understand just miscommunication or just different perspectives.
Me and my father had words. It was about a fucking class ring. My mom said I asked him for the class ring. You know, he was like, I asked him again over some time. He was like, hey, you know, and that's kind of where I get that line from. No pun intended. You know, I was like, hey, he was like, you know, don't put me on spot. You know, I told you I get it when I get it. You know, I mean, I banged the phone, I hang up, and I ain't talked to you for some years. I think the first time I talked to you after that was in '98. I graduated in '98. I talked to you the first time I physically talked to you was after 9/11.
Okay.
When the 9/11 we had talked on the phone, you called me. That was the first time. I'm telling you, it was the first time we talked since '98. And it was briefly, you know, and but I felt a kind of way that I've heard expressed, you know, from through your mom, from you, or sometimes that she said from Sierra, that y'all observe things a certain way, how we conduct ourselves with your brothers and sisters, your siblings and stuff like that, and to the point to where I feel it's, you know, am I treating them different? Are they living this mysterious lifestyle that you didn't have, and why are they getting?
I gotta learn how to pause this, man.
Yeah.
Wait, thank you.
You know, why is he, you know, potentially at the games with them? Why is he potentially, you know, showing them so much affection and can communicate with them and laugh with them? And why is everything with us so with so much contention? Those were the things in my head that I perceived with my father and my siblings and my stepmom. And I heard what y'all may perceive and what I feel that y'all may perceive, because, you know, it's a child thing. As a child, I think as a child. As a man, I think as a man. So we perceive things differently as a child. But I had anger towards him, you know, as far as what would have happened, or why was he showing them this type of love that I didn't get. My father never raised a hand to me. Truth be told, he wasn't around long enough sometimes to raise a hand to me. You know what I mean? But he never raised a hand to me. But still, the effects that I felt like he done raised 1,000 hands to me. As far as the pain I felt.
We feel that pain. We hold that pain.
Hurt I felt. So on that day, I wanted to fight you. I wanted to, and John, I was sitting on the car, like I couldn't.
This is me telling my father.
You know, it was on my mind. Anybody? It was on my mind. Win, lose, or draw, the shit was on my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was at your
True
aunt's
story.
graduation. So it was funny that these things had transpired on your graduation.
Full circle.
By and by. So that's why I'm able.
God got a funny way, man.
Sooner than later.
Good.
God has a funny way of doing things.
Because if that's my son and your grandson,
Exactly.
I know good and goddamn well I don't want no 10 years, no 5 years to go by
Right.
to fester and you wondering about something that could have been talked about.
Right, and break that cycle.
Because, yes, I'm going to jump around. In the car in Ohio, I said I'd kill you out of response. That was not the proper response. You my son, my flesh and blood. I love you dearly.
Old school
I
trauma
would never
passed
put you in
down.
that position. I'm going to jump around. But the position I was in, I'm not saying it was healthy, but as a young man, and we took a break through court and situations that went by, but you're getting a little bit older now, we're interacting a little bit more, you're working out a little bit more, you're getting a little bit bigger, and gradually he's checking me. You know, he grabbing my hand a little stronger, making little jokes, and, you know, patting me on my shit, and, you know.
Checking with
Yeah.
sizing you up.
Yeah.
Getting
sizing
big for
me
the
up
britches.
on the low, gradually. And I'm a dude.
Affection, the affection, your son.
I get it. But I always said there was a time and a place. You know, I and again, I'm not saying, and I'm not going to point blame, I'm just going to explain, because at the end of the day, we want to be able to explain each other's point of view, perspective, and then come to a common, you know, resolve.
Trying to work
And
through.
again, she said it was out of anger, which I understand, but your mom said, you know, shit, through the years that, you know, a lot of stuff they was dealing with in regards with you came from your anger towards me. But even in that space, your mom is like, even because we all have accountability, even in that space, your mom is telling me, you know, you don't know how to pipe down and taper yourself when dealing with her. Your sister has told me that. Your mom has told me you have issue with different people where they might misinterpret how you get down. So so me as your father, when you try to handle me that way, I'm like, stop. You know, and progressively I said, stop. That's not how we do. You don't play in a man's face like that. You don't play in your father's face like that. Hey, play with your mom or somebody else. So again, my end result, as far as what I said to you, no, it wasn't good for me to say at all. So that was my bad interpretation of saying, try to aggressively or assertively tell you, calm down and stop playing adults' face. More importantly, stop playing in your parents' face. In between that, we joke all day long, and we talk about whatever, other than evidently some of the serious issues that we need to talk about.
We got to talk about the serious
issue.
So
I want to address that. Again, I apologize for that. And I sincerely love you for that. I'm not deflecting. Again, we're having tough conversations, which is why I'm doing this. So again, I felt
from the issue.
Animosity towards your grandfather for not being there. I felt animosity when I was going through things with my stepdad, like I heard you went through with your stepdad, to scale, as far as, you know, the interaction with your moms and stuff like that. Mom was a little bit different. Mom was a little more physical towards me. But always wondering, what if my dad would have been there? What if this would have happened? And what if that would have happened? I wouldn't be feeling this. So fuck him, because he's not there to console me. He's not there to show me and lead me and protect me from these people around me. And if not me, even if I have a soft spot for my mother, who I was angry at anyway, for protecting me and helping my mom out in this situation. You know, but we don't understand the ins and outs of those things, because as a child, I think as a child. That's from the Bible, by the way. I'll shoot you the verse later. And as a man, I think so I have a different understanding now that I've gotten through. Thank God he's gotten me through certain things to where I'm able to have a different understanding and gain more knowledge. My father helped me get that different level of understanding through communication, eventual communication. Most of our communication was sparse. Hey, how you doing, son? You doing good? You know, the infamous lines of, you know, turn your lemons into lemonade. You know, you want to be like an eagle, hang like a, which are jewels to me now as a man. You know, I was tired of hearing that shit as an adolescent. I'm like, this all this nigga got to say? And for all intents and purposes, I'm going to jump around. That might have been the best he had to say at the time. But he, at least at some point, he was communicating. But back to the pain. So I asked him here to be on camera so I didn't misconstrue anything, so I didn't lose any of my main points that I wanted to share with you. And one, show you that being here in the same room is a blessing from God.
Amen.
You know what I mean? It's a blessing from God. I did a lot of dumb shit because I was angry. I was upset. I was misunderstood. I was on prescriptions. I was in fights. I was reckless with my teachers and adults and all that type of stuff. I hated your Uncle Ricky. I tortured the hell out of him. I tied him. I would do all kinds of dumb shit out of my anger. I heard you had problems with your little brother and y'all interaction with shit. So I get all of that.
Yeah.
But what I'm here to say is we can work through it. You know, men will always operate differently than women. That's going to be a given. There's a strong theory, a strong
feminine
opinion,
energy and masculine energy.
I would like to say fact, but I'll say strong opinion that
feminine energy versus masculine energy.
Men are more logical, which means women will think more of emotion first, while men will be like, what emotion means probably like 2-3 hours of where men like, hey, it's 1 + 1. That's it. We don't need to do no long division, no short division. You know, this is the problem. This is the issue. This is the resolution. Let's move on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Get to the point.
Right. But the middle ground is understanding. So that's what the balance between having a man and a woman that's hopefully on the same page when they're raising a child in a home. So evidently, I've learned we are emotional people, us in this bloodline right here. And if not him, I'm going to tell you from me, I'm an emotional guy. Your little brothers, super emotional guys. You're an emotional guy. And there's
Facts.
nothing wrong with that. It's about understanding self.
You gotta understand yourself.
So, with that being said, we are a little sensitive. Emotional comes down to sensitivity. We take things a little bit differently. We don't just take things as a grain of salt. We take it as a mountain dropping on every word. Every action is a mountain. And it weighs on us.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it takes us down, levels of thought processes and emotions that we really don't need to put ourselves through. Now, God's will is God's will. You're going to be who you're going to be regardless. But I feel like as the breath I have in me, which is what I share with your mom, your grandma, and Khalida, I would like to have this conversation or share these expressions and emotions and sentiments with you sooner than later. So you know how I feel. And know that I want you to know how you feel, not through a third person.
Playing phone tag.
I want and need to know how my sons feel from
going
my sons.
Through moms.
And I'm letting you know that I'm man enough to be able to take your passion, your maybe a assertive approach in your voice.
Fact,
I'm willing to take.
Ones know what it means.
Again, in the street, we don't like people moving around with their hands too much. We don't.
Fact.
You know what I mean? We take it as a sign of aggression. I'm willing to take all that from you as my son because I love you, because I want and need for you to articulate your hurt to me so that we can get through, brother.
Right. All right.
So we can get through.
Right.
I'm not no sideshow, Bob.
You know,
you're not no sideshow.
Fathers, you understand. Hopefully, some I got some real fathers out there who get it.
I didn't adopt you. I didn't watch you for a little bit. You're my son. Now, the difficult and negative part into being attached to me was I was with your mother at a certain point, and then we were separated at a certain point.
Right.
At a certain point, we were traveling up and down the road. Divorce was going on. Court was going on. I was going through my trail trying to establish some things and get some things in order for my life / your life to be able to contribute. And those things didn't work out how I wanted to. So, I saw those things through until God, saw fit to bless, which we have today. But unfortunately, sometimes even though I made it through those blessings, it seems that my kids aren't able to enjoy some of those fruits or those blessings due to negative tension.
Right.
You know what I mean? Again, I told you, don't be twisted, don't be misconstrued about this material things you see, this house, this big house. Son, I'm 42 today, God bless. This is my first house.
I'm just giving them the real, man.
This is
Rome
my
wasn't
first
built
house.
in a day.
A lot of things you see on my first at 42, I didn't have it at 20. I didn't have it when I first went into the military, when everybody who did the right thing and had discipline and more control over their emotions at the time to clean up their bad bills and get their credit straight and maintain their credit enough to get a house and get a car. I didn't do that, which is why I impressed upon you certain things when I heard about the check or when I hear you ask for money and certain things. It's not, and again, I know I may come across in an ill way, but my expression to try to explain to you, it's not to belittle you. It's not to. I'm trying to. In masonry, they say our task is to make a good man a better man. We start off as what they call a rough ashlar, a rugged stone, and our job is to strive to be a perfect stone, a smooth globe, a perfect cyclical circle, balance, even all the way around. Now, we'll never hit that, but it's our job to strive for that. So I'm expressing those things to you. So when I give you certain things,
just talking to them, dropping jewels.
Sometimes it's called I give it to you how I got it. You know what I mean? So sometimes, even though it's not right, I can only give it to you the best way I got it. So when you ask for money at a certain, and I don't mean this in the that you should, I'm just saying as far as stimulus and response. I know you learned that in science class. The stimuli, the sunlight, response to plants grow. The chlorophyll, chloroform, plants grows to the sunlight. Nighttime comes, the moon rises, the plants go down, the chloroform lowers. Stimulus and response. So when you stimulate me with information that you need money for something, automatically I go to what my response is, how my mom at this point, not my dad, but my mom at this point, like, shit, you need to earn that.
Respectfully,
he might have said the same thing,
baby.
but we weren't interacting at that time. But how I got it was you need to earn that. And nothing against Amanda, nothing against you, nothing against your mom. Y'all have she has a different teaching for you. And I told you before, I can't raise you how your mom raised you. I can only raise you how I was raised. I can only give you
Amen.
the
A lot of
lessons
us
that God
fathers
gave me.
struggle on that.
No more, no less. Just as you're going to give your son or daughter if you're blessed to have a child one day. No more, no less.
Yeah.
So when it comes to me and y'all have agreed to, be raised in whatever lifestyle y'all choose to see fit, and you come to me for something, it's always going to be, it seems, or it brings contention in that, right? Like, dang, like dad ain't with the program. So to a certain degree, I'm not with that program. I do want you to earn. I earned my first car. Now, granted, I'm going to tell you, transparency, Grandpa Ray and Grandma, they went, Grandma worked extra, and Grandpa Ray, he had a newspaper job. Work extra on the side for all the little extra shit we needed at the crib. So they went and split the bill, got the car, parked the car, and made me work till I earned the $900. Parked the car, sat right there, and made me work until I earned the $900. So that's where I came from, and I learned a lot from that. I was pissed off because, I felt like, excuse me, but we moved to Henrico. We from Philly, a black community, Puerto Ricans, all kinds of stuff. Not a lot of white people. So, when we moved to Virginia, I was like, shit, we moving up. So I'm like, shit, why can't I, I'm watching movies and shit. Yeah. I'm like, the car I'm supposed to,
Arrive, right?
Yeah, she's like, nah, you need to work for this shit. You know what I mean? So, but it taught me something. I was vested in that car. So when the car broke down, even if I did ask my parents for something, at least there was enough communication to be like, hey, this is your car. They need to see some effort. How you gonna get the money to fix this car? Can you match us? Can you give $1, $10 because this in essence is your car? You don't have to drive. Driving is a privilege. So that's how I look at stuff. Those are all extra stuff. Those are all cars and stuff. They're extra, but not to get off subject. So when y'all ask certain things, my automatic response is how I was brought up. You know what I mean? So I'm not against you. I'm for you, brother. I'm for you all day long. Just as 5 years ago, me and Khalida, we sat down, you and Walter, and we broke down whatever y'all thought y'all careers were at the time. Football, you said football, soccer. I forget the third thing, but we had you look up the football player, whoever your football player was at the time, and we had you look up the soccer player and how much they make and the whole thing, where you want to live. We broke all these things down just to give you an idea.
This is what we do for our kids.
How to process.
You know what I mean? This is what real fathers do. You try, you know what I mean? Give them intellectual property, real intellectual property.
I'm for you, not against you. I don't hate you. I love you down to the bone marrow. To the bone marrow. Again, I didn't have choice words at the time. Work in progress, and I sincerely apologize. And I love you. But so some of my interactions with you is based off of that. We'll jump around again. Now, we know factually there was an incident in 2014 that threw us in court to where you ended up testifying, and your mom and Antonio and everybody was up in arms about me supposedly putting my hands on you or whatever the case may be. To the best of my ability, son, I don't remember raising a hand to you. And I challenge you, and I need to know your perspective on what happened in 2014 when you left for summer. Because the last thing I got from you was, this the best time, Dad, I ever had. I can't wait to come back. Next thing I know, we're in court and back on supervised visitations. So I want to know. Other than that, until you tell me different, and I'm not saying this in a challenging way, it's about communication. It's the best way I got right now. Other than that, I feel in my heart that whatever, minus my words, your biggest pain is abandonment, in my opinion. My biggest pain when it came down to it, I felt abandoned.
How many of us are like that?
I felt abandoned by my father, your grandfather, and I felt abandoned by my mother, your grandmother. And I'll tell you why, and I hope I keep it in context. I felt abandoned from my father just because he wasn't there. And then I felt abandoned from my mother because I was in an abusive situation where I felt like I shouldn't have had to even answer the question or choose or be put in a position to choose to stay in this situation. It should have been an automatic.
This is not to embarrass anybody, like I said. This is just to show the realness of life and what we hide and how we try to get through
at that point, like,
to move forward in a positive fashion.
Save me from this shit.
You know what I mean? And the things that
those
we're willing
they
to do and sacrifice of ourselves for our family and our kids as men.
as fathers, as husbands.
You know, and then in turn, I'm
people
angry
who
at
are
my
just
mom
trying.
and my dad.
You know what I'm saying?
Just like
This
as
is
I
not to play
heard
the
you
victim
were.
or nothing
Man,
like
your mom
that.
again, your
This
mom
is to give
shared with me
a
that,
different level of
you
understanding.
know, she
'cause,
feels like,
you know, we're supposedly,
you know, your family down
you
there
know,
shared the brunt of the anger.
lacking so much
based off
as a man, and
of the
lacking so
anger
much in leadership,
you
and
had
lacking
towards
so
me.
much of being present, lacking
And if
so
that be
much
true,
of being a,
which
being
I
a
believe to
father.
be true,
You know what I mean?
I
Effective
understand
father.
that. And we can
You know what I
talk
mean?
about
So
I was
it's our
angry with my
job,
mother.
you know what I mean, to circle and surround
and she was
one
the best
another
thing
with
smoking,
the right
the best,
positive
you know,
group,
moms do what they do. They're one of the best
and really,
assets
and
we
really
got.
focus
But
on the
even
mission
in
as
that
men and do
space,
better.
we don't care. We still angry. We still gonna do what we do. We build this high expectation. I'm your son. I'm your child. You supposed to do this and that for me. Yeah, we brought y'all into this world, but there's rules and levels to this shit. You know, some people, and again, I guess it comes off based off your background. Some people, you know, think everything's supposed to be, you know, white clouds and, you know, butterscotch and, you know, and God bless those, you know, who can have that. But there's a gift and curse to having that. That's called entitlement. That's it. The thing you think you're looking for, which is I think I deserve. When you get that shit, it takes a lot of, to me, it takes a lot of teachable moments out of life, in my strong opinion. Less is more. When you have more, you tend to feel like, you know, you lose all kind of skills, survivor skills. You kind of spoiled in a sense to where you just always in a dependent mode upon someone else to do something for you, or a mechanism, versus having confidence on yourself, confidence on what you can do. Hey, I need some money. I'm not going to go steal nothing. I'm not going to steal no drugs. Hey, I'm going to go get me a job. Hey, I'm at school. I'm having a difficulty with school and work. I had that problem too. Your grandma said, TJ, if you get below a below a C, you got to park the car. The car that I worked weekend after weekend, $25 a weekend, delivering fucking newspapers in the summer and in the goddamn winter. Learn how to drive in the middle of that. Right? But I had to earn that. But there was rules to that shit. You get below this grade, you park it. It don't matter if it was an interim or a report card. And I had to live up to those rules that we had agreed upon. And I got a D- one day, 1 point. And your grandma said we had a deal. I said, Ma, it's 1 point. I can get it up in the next interim, which is 4.5 weeks. You know, report card, 9-week period. You know what my mother said? I said, Ma, I paid for that car.
Mm-hmm.
She said, you right, TJ. Give me my house keys.
Yeah, shout out to my mom. Hey, shout out to Miss Charles. You know,
She ain't blink. She said it calm as I said it. You right, TJ. Give me my house key. Go live
just
in your
that
car.
fast.
Oh man, that's ugly.
I had
was
some
mine.
decisions to make right then.
Quick.
It wasn't the, oh, I deserve this. Now I could have said all that and took my stance and been out on the street, but that really showed how of a Billy badass I really was at the time. Was I really going to be a stand-up and say, hey, this is mine and this is what I deserve and you couldn't provide this for me and all bets is off, I can go out to the street and get it and be locked up with the rest of the motherfuckers, or dead with the rest of them? Or I can say, hey, you know what? I think I am a little bit out of line. I don't want to go past my threshold. Let me pipe it down and do what I need to do. You know?
Right.
And at the best, at a sober mind, a still, quiet place, and when you're thinking, whether you're working out or running, like, dang, she really did want the best for me. It ain't like she said, you know, she said she wanted a certain standard in the grades to help me get into a better position. You know what I'm saying? But I was mad at her. I didn't care. Oh, you're just trying to tell me what to do. I'm mad at my stepdad. I'm mad at my father. I'm mad at my brother.
It's a lot of people.
I'm just angry. I meet people, start relationships like your mom, while I'm thinking I'm not angry and that it's going to pacify the situation, but I'm still angry and I'm sharing them angry emotions. So that put us in a volatile situation. I'm just fessing on my part of the situation, but it put us in a volatile situation with the energy that I gave off. We end up separating. And in that space, I was not able to be there for you physically. I was not
just
able
letting
to be
them
there
know,
for
you know what I
to
mean?
feel like I was able there to defend or protect you in a physical form.
A lot of us feel like we're not there to protect.
And my anger and apprehension, one of the things you shared was shared to your mom. She said,
she sent me the schedule, football schedules, and all I did was come to one soccer game, and you know, transparent and honest. In my head, just off, I'm not going to talk about anything. I'm just focused on just me sharing. Whether it was the one fucking soccer game, I felt like that was like the shit. I got 0 soccer games, 0 football games, you know. But aside that, you know, there was a whole lot in this situation, traveling back up and down the road and stuff. And a lot of people, you know, can point fingers, but nobody else is 10 hours away and 11 hours and 12 and 14 hours away. And having to try to put food in your stomach and deal with things and go through courts and, you know,
it wears down on you.
Deal with a man that was said that he's my replacement. He's so good for you. He's the best thing for you. And everybody put these things up in my face, you know, to make me feel like, I'm a subpar man. But still stay on track. So there was a lot of resentment just coming down there, period, because it felt like every time I came down there was some bullshit. If it wasn't some bullshit, it was a, you know, smile and wave, and then it was some bullshit by the time y'all came back down. You know, and after court and certain things, I was just tired. I'm not saying
that's what most of us go through in this type of situation.
12 hours down and 12 hours back at a time, or 10.5, 11 hours straight back and forth to spend time and to teach and whatever I could. Now, evidently, there was, you know, I guess there was some things shared. Your mom said y'all came to y'all own conclusions as far as certain things. And again, transparency, I don't know if that was towards me smoking weed or me being loud when I was reprimanding, correcting you guys. There's a talk about, oh, you don't handle your other kids that way. Khalida will tell you, hell, why you act like this and that when Sierra and Tavon come into town? You don't do that for Walter. You don't do that for da-da-da. You know what I mean? So there's two sides of the story, but I've definitely calmed down in my mouth to scale, but they still get it. But they understand, what I tried to, you know, express to y'all over and over again. Mind me, but don't mind me. I just speak in a certain tone. But once we get done talking, that situation is done and over with. They know that. They do what they want. They do what they need. They get out of line. Energy. I correct them.
Still a teddy bear.
And we move on. Now, I know it doesn't work as easier when you long distance 12 hours away. But we talk and move on. So we haven't talked, so we're not able to move on. We haven't talked in the entirety, but you've seen, you know.
So I shared that chunk, which was a lot of private chunk, but I shared that for the true purpose of it's the struggle is real. You know, the struggle is real, man. We're trying to figure out ways, you know, hopefully you're trying to figure out ways to better yourself. Hopefully you're trying to figure out ways to live a productive life and to be an asset to your family and to society, you know, hopefully. But, you know, unfortunately some situations as you know, great as these could be, certain of these situations, whether you're separated from your kids or whether they're in-house, the struggle is real. But God forbid that you're a part in a broken home situation. The things that, the mentality that the other child goes through, the other set of children, and you hear it constantly. You hear it constantly in the community. You know, it's hell. Either you hear my people ain't give a shit about me, or you know what I mean, and you won't thinking about them at all, or you stuck in your head wondering what's going on the other side of the fence. So I did that and said that to say, you know, it's okay. It's okay to feel that anxiety. It's okay to feel broken.
You know what I mean? Dudes, we can only be so tough. You understand what I'm saying? You know that there's only a certain amount of I got it before, you know what I mean, you start losing it, and you're not juggling it, and you're off key, you know, and you're putting out bad energy in your home environment into society. You know what I mean? So it's okay to feel, you know what I mean? And that's the plight of life everybody wants to feel. You know what I mean? But I don't know if y'all seen that movie Inside Out. That was a great movie to watch with your kids, and definitely for adults to watch with themselves. It's a Pixar Disney movie called Inside and Out. And it was just about there was this little girl, and it was about the emotions inside her head: happy, sad, angry, laugh, or something like that. Yeah, happy, sad, angry, and something else. It was just all our emotions and how they operate, you know, in her head. And short story shorter, the whole movie they were trying to you know, make sure the girl stayed happy, you know, not too much anger. And she was going through shit with her parents, and then the girl had ended up moving to a new town. She was having anxiety. She started to have it. You saw when she was happy where she was born at. When she moved into the new town, you start seeing her emotions change. At the end of the day, she's trying to hide her emotions from her parents and seem happy the whole movie, but she's really breaking down inside. But they were so busy always trying to keep her happy, and this girl was breaking down inside. The key to the movie, I mean, I'll be a spoiler, but it's a good movie to watch. The key to the movie was the sad emotion. You know, she had to feel sad. She had to cry. She was hiding so much emotion within. It was affecting her at school. She was lashing out in her new school. She was snapping on. She didn't want to play hockey. She loved playing hockey at home, but now she's in a new town. She don't want to play hockey with the team. She was so detached from the situation. She was bearing it with a smile and saying she was okay and saying she was okay. But the key to the movie was sad. Sad had played such a vicarious part, if that's the word I'm looking for. She was key. It looked like she had fucked up the whole situation, but actually she was the key to the situation. They were so busy trying to keep her happy, appease in life. And actually she just needed to cry. She just needed to feel. She just needed to go to her parents and tell them, show them, and say, hey, I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling right. So once we start to feel emotions and actually feel that emotions, we can really begin to deal with it until you actually feel what it means to you know, be happy, you know what I'm saying, or to be sad, or to be, you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean, you can't fully express yourself. So all those emotions, it has to be a balance, is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes when we're sad, men, you know what I'm saying, when we're sad, you know what I mean, fuck it, say you sad, you know what I'm saying, say you sad. We're in the age now where the word vulnerability is running rampant through our community and conversation. Vulnerability, you know, in this new revolution of you know, I'm gonna be selfish this year. You know what I'm saying? It's all about me this year, and unapologetic being you. You know what I mean? But you go through these emotions, and you hide, and you mask, and it starts to become such a violent buildup. So I said all that to say I reached out to my son. You know, in such an intimate way, you know, and I did the recording because, again, I was contacting him. It wasn't, you know, really talking on the phone. And I really prefer to be face to face in these situations. And a lot of fathers understand, you know, if you could just get down in your child's eyes and let them hear your tone and voice. And again, that's why I expressed myself the way I did. I said, I'm willing to take some of your passion and anger, and, you know what I'm saying, and take that in so we can go ahead and get this situation out. Because a lot of us as young men have been through some traumatic situations, just growing up being a boy. You know what I mean? And being a stepfather, and then step parent, step kid, you know what I mean? And my whole life wasn't bad, but there was definitely some prominent points that had started to shape and mold, you know what I mean? In a younger age, I'll say it like that. I just held a lot in. Again, the point was I held some things in. And things I thought I dealt with, or actually I can't say I thought I dealt with, because I couldn't really identify to really pinpoint why I was, you know, in such a dire state, you know, when it came to certain things, when I think of families, when I think of kids, when I think of abandonment, you know what I mean? So I always want to try my best, to try to communicate and tell it to my son in a very special way. and fathers, I hope you go through whatever strengths you can to stay in touch with your kids. Currently, that's not my current position right now. Due to the sequence of events, I think I definitely got them in prayer and working on some situations within myself. But it's definitely good to give them space now as young adults to go ahead and do their thing, and I definitely wish them well, man. So God bless. Yeah, I think it's okay. It's okay, fellas. I think that's what a lot of people, whether male or female, what I'm saying, really just come to the spot where you just feel and go through the emotion. You know what I'm saying? You get through the emotion, because when you hold the emotion, you could be angry, but be angry and start working on letting it go. You understand what I'm saying? It's okay to be angry. You know what I'm saying? But don't hold the anger in. It's okay to be sad, but don't hold the sadness in. You know what I'm saying? Even we know to let the emotion happy out. That's why the girl was working so hard to keep the emotions in her head. I think happy was the emotion. It was trying to always keep the girl happy all the time. All the time. You know what I mean? So happy automatically speaks out, but a lot of other emotions we hold in. And that is the game of, what they call emotional awareness and self-control and being in a healthy mental space. You know what I'm saying? Where you can balance. So I know it's easier said than done. I'm not only the president, I'm a client. You know what I mean? I'm not speaking like I'm Gandhi or none of that shit, man. I'm a daily work in progress. But as I come, I keep it messy either way. You know what I'm saying? As I come in, I might be on one perspective and have a level of knowledge and understanding on it and speak passionately on it. And then, as I embark on my journeys and gaining knowledge and reading literature and speaking to my colleagues, we match wits and share and correct it accordingly when we need to be corrected. But a distinguished league of gentlemen that I have that definitely keep me focused and grounded in the journey, and also, of course, as well as my kids and my family and my wife. A vital piece of that balance. But fathers, keep trying to be a father. You know what I'm saying? God bless if you're a father and an active husband at the same time. One hand washes the other in that aspect, man. It's just a daily task, a daily journey, one that we strive on a daily basis to get better at our craft. For those of you who are in a committed relationship or married or what have you, you strive to be a better partner for your partner. So shout out to everybody in those positive rights who are in relationships and healthy relationships, and it's okay to go through emotions. It's okay to be angry. Just work through the anger. It's okay to be sad. Work through the sadness. It's definitely okay to be happy. You know what I'm saying? That exudes everything, right? It just encompasses happiness, that feeling. I'm so happy. That's why it's such a hit song. So stay loose, stay positive, stay messy, man. Shout out again, thankful for the support of from the old ladies, of those men enduring certain things through their life, as far as dealing with their external blended families or lack thereof. Again, this was not a battle cry. I speak from this platform for levels of understanding and impress on the mind some messy shit that you might have been thinking of but didn't quite speak out loud. You know what I mean? That's the fearfulness. That's the greatness of having one 1-800 hotline counselors, or having an active psychiatrist of some sort, because you get to speak. Once you can speak things out loud and have a clear, full, exportation, if you will, or deliberation of your thought, you could be more effective. So. If it ain't mess, it ain't me, man. I said a lot was probably confusing. I think I just confused myself, to be honest with you. But I appreciate y'all support. I appreciate y'all likes and shares. I appreciate y'all subscribing to my channel, man. I always do it one way only. I do it messy, and just remember,